Welcome to another story time with Mr. Frey. I'm glad you joined us today because today's book is a really fun book that I like to read called Take Care, Good Night. It's by Shelley Thomas and the pictures are by Meisel. And I love the pictures in this book because you'll see the cats get into some serious things in the story and they don't really like a lot of the things that are going on and their faces are really funny. So I think we should read this book. And as always, this is our front cover. This is our spine. This is the back cover. And we will get to our title page. This is our title page. Take Care, Good Night by Shelley Thomas, pictures by Meisel. Now, since this is a book about knights and dragons, I feel like we should use a story voice. And I think a good story voice for this story about knights and dragons would be maybe a British accent. So let's try that. Let's see how that goes. I'm also going to do something a little different. I'm going to read and then I'm going to show you the pictures because there's a lot more words in this book than there have been on the other books. So here we go. Take care, good night. Once there were 3 dragons. The dragons lived in a deep, dark cave that was in the king's forest. But the dragons were very happy in their cave. See the dragons in their cave? They had a good friend. He was called the Good Knight. Every day he rode his horse clippity-clop, to the dragon's cave to say, "Good morning, good dragons." "Good morning, good night," replied the dragons. And every night he rode his horse clippity-clop, to put the little dragons to bed. Good night, the dragons said before they went to sleep. So there he is saying good morning. Here he is saying good night. One day, after the good knight had ridden off his horse, clippity-clop, the little dragons heard a knock on the door. It was another friend, the old wizard. "Good day, little dragons. I was wondering if you could help me," the old wizard said. "We will try," said the dragons. "I would like you to watch my cats while I go away for a few days. Can you do it?" Here's the old wizard asking them the question. The dragons had never watched cats before, but the good knight had taught them that it was good to do good deeds. "Certainly we will help you," said the dragons. The old wizard was very happy. He told the dragons that he would leave them a note with instructions at his cottage. He left the shiny silver key to the door. "Take care, good dragons," he said, and he disappeared in a puff of smoke. There he is, disappearing in a puff of smoke. "This is going to be fun," said the first dragon. "I can hardly wait," said the second dragon. "Yippee!" said the third dragon. The next day, the dragons went to the wizard's cottage to take care of the cats. They opened the door with the shiny silver key. They saw lots of cats. They are opening the door. They found the wizard's note on the counter. There was only one problem. The dragons did not know how to read. So here are all the cats, and here's the note. And the note says, "Give the cats fresh water. Give the cats food from the cupboard. Put the cats to sleep in their bed at night." Water, food, and sleep. But the dragons don't know how to read. "I think the first thing we're supposed to do is take the cats swimming in the lake," said the first dragon. So the dragons gathered up the cats and took them to the lake for a swim. Ooh, if you know anything about cats, I don't think they're going to like this. Just then the good knight was riding by on his horse. "Good day, good dragons," said the good knight. "What are you doing?" "We're taking the wizard's cats for a swim," said the dragons. "He told us to." Cats swimming? That did not seem right. But if the old wizard said so, it must be true. "Very well," said the good knight. "Carry on." But the cats did not like swimming. They did not like it one bit. They howled and yowled. They quivered and shivered until... Oh, look at those cats. Look at their faces. Ooh. The little dragons took them home. Then the little dragons looked at the wizard's note to see what to do next.
I think it says to put the cats in the cupboard,
said the second dragon. So the dragons put the cats into the cupboard. Just then the good knight was riding by. "What are you doing?" asked the good knight.
We're putting the wizard's cats into the cupboard. He told us to.
Cats in the cupboard? That did not seem right. But if the old wizard said so, it must be true. "Very well," said the good knight, "carry on." But the cats did not like being in the cupboard. They did not like it one bit. They scritched and scratched until the little dragons let them out. It's the night coming by, and scritching and scratching in the cupboard. By then the cats were very thirsty and very hungry, and so were the little dragons. But they looked at the note once more.
I think we're supposed to take the cats camping,
said the third dragon. So the dragons took the cats out camping under the stars. "What are you doing?" asked the good knight, who was coming to bring the dragons back to their cave.
We're taking the cats out camping,
said the dragons.
The old wizard told us to.
Cats? Camping? That did not seem right. But if the wizard said so, it must be true. "Very well," said the good knight, "carry on." But the cats did not like camping. They did not like it one bit. They jumped and bumped, they clawed and pawed, they cussed and fussed and hissed, and they would not even eat one toasted marshmallow. The good knight could not help but hear all the racket the cats were making. Something did not seem right, he thought. Back he rode to the wizard's house, clippity-clop. "Follow me, good dragons," he said. "Let's get to the bottom of this and bring those cats." So he's thinking, he's traveling, and then they go bring the cats in. Inside the wizard's house, the good knight found the wizard's note. It did not say to take the cats swimming. It did not say to put the cats in the cupboard or to take them camping. "Didn't you read this note?" he asked. The dragons hung their heads. Their eyes were filled with drippy, droppy tears.
"We told him we could take care, but we don't know how to read,"
they confessed. So the good knight read the note to the dragons. First, here we are. First, they gave the cats water. Then they fed the cats food from the cupboard, and they put the cats in their beds to sleep. By then, the dragons were very tired themselves. The good knight walked them back to the cave and tucked them in for the night. The next day, the wizard came back from his trip. He visited the dragons. "Thank you for watching my cats," he said. "You did such a good job. I wanted you to have this." And he handed them a tiny baby kitten of their own. "And I want you to have this," said the good knight. He handed a book to the dragons. The wizard with the kitten and the knight with the book. It was a book about learning to read. And that is the end. Well, I hope you enjoyed Take Care, Good Night. It's one of my favorites. It's a lot of fun to read, and I love all the little pictures of all the cats that are like, "What's going on?" It's a lot of fun. I hope you had fun today, and be sure to tune in next time for the next episode of Stories with Mr. Frey. I'll see you later. Bye.